Alright everybody, welcome back to another turn of Operation Montagnard, the Japanese. This will be turn 16, which is January of 1944. Before we get into it, I am having some internet issues, so unfortunately I will not be able to have the Electron available to adjudicate decisions for the Allies in real time. I will, however, be rolling round 1 of this combat first, and then reporting the results to the Electron via Discord. My internet is good enough to send messages over the connection, so we're gonna roll that out a little bit differently than normal to give him a chance to respond and make the decisions he's supposed to be able to make with up-to-date information. I do believe we have no housekeeping to address across the previous turns, so let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. I rolled a 12 on radar off screen using Dice Maiden, and that is a hit. Got a miss of 5 on improved construction. I don't remember that it was a 5 exactly, but it was like 5 or 6 or 4. Either way, it's a miss. Okay, for the purchases, I'm declaring 2 militia upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 militia. 8 infantry. 2 AAA. 1 half of a major port that'll go under construction. And also finishing 1 heavy cruiser. All of that combined is 60 IPP, clearing the bank completely. Alright, let's go straight into the combat movements. We have only a few to deal with. 2 coastal submarines from P16 are moving over into P59 and convoy raiding. The tactical bomber from Luzon and Visayas is convoy raiding in P50, so it's going on map in P50. We have from Nanking 1 strategic bomber flying 1, 2, 3 and carpet bombing Hainan. The other is flying 1, 2, 3 and strategic bombing the factory in Hokkaido. And then got an airborne assault. The airborne from Honshu is boarding the air transport, and those units are flying 1, 2, 3, 4 into Wake Island, leaving 3 remaining to land. That is going to be a free capture, so I'll go ahead and place that. Okay. And then lastly, but definitely not least, we're going to be dogpiling into P16 again. Everything in port on the eastern side of Japan, actually everything in port all over Japan, is coming into P16. So that's 3 heavy cruisers and a damaged battleship from Tokyo. 2 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser from Honshu on the eastern side. 1 light carrier, 1 destroyer, and 1 full battleship from the west side of Honshu. I do believe we're also going to be adding the 2 submarines from P15 and 2 kamikazes. We will also be joining with a fighter from Korea, flying 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, just 2. Just needs 2. And the fighter from Honshu is going to be mapping in C-Zone. And that will force the submarines to engage from the 7th Fleet. I do think... I've missed 1 combat move. The seaplane from Okinawa is mapping into P15. I have not got the die out for that combat either. I had just forgotten it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get straight into the first roll in P16. So what we have in the C zone for the Americans are 1 coastal sub, 2 submarines, 2 destroyers, and 4 heavy battleships. For the Japanese, we have 2 kamikaze, 2 submarine, light cruiser, destroyer, 5 heavy cruisers, damaged battleship, full battleship, light carrier, 2 fighters, and 2 subs. Yeah, okay. So the kamikazes will roll first. We got 2 hits on kamikaze. Neither of those are target select. In the comments that have been given to me already, he has chosen to select a submarine and a coastal submarine on those non-target select kamikazes. But they will still get to roll for round 1. Okay, this is a light carrier, doesn't roll. For the attack, we have 2 submarines at 3 with a target select of 1. 1 hit. Destroyer at 4. Miss. Light cruiser at 5. That's a hit. There's no aircraft to target select with that light cruiser. These die are all rolling at 6. I do think the mapping fighter will actually make a difference, so this is going to be the fighter that's mapping. That's a miss, so one of the subs definitely will get to survive. The other fighter hits. We've got 5 heavy cruisers. Looks like 2 hits. And we have a damaged battleship. Hit. And a full battleship. Miss. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits off of kamikaze. No target select. Okay, in response, we have coastal sub rolling at 2. Miss. 2 subs rolling at 3. 2 hits, neither of them target select. That's unfortunate. 2 destroyers rolling at 4. 1 hit. And 4 heavy battleships rolling at 10. Yeah, that's all 4 hits. Okay, so I'll report these results to the Electrion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. Okay. And in response, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. Alright, so after that, we will allow the Electrion to think a little bit about how he wants to assign his casualties. I will go ahead and take mine off, and then start rolling other combats. I'm first going to take the light carrier. I'm going to damage the battleship, bringing me to 2. Both subs down to 4. 3 hits remaining. Light cruiser and destroyer, 1 hit remaining. It's gonna go on a heavy cruiser. Alright, so what remains for me after the first round of combat is gonna be 4 heavy cruisers, 2 damaged battleships, and 2 fighters. Yeah, okay. And then, okay, so we've got a straightforward die selection here. So he does want to take the sub first. We have the sub and the coastal sub already dead from Kamikaze. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are going to be converted into damaged battleships. There we go. Okay. Did I overselect? Okay, so he has. This is what's left after Kamikaze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's correct then. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so those are dead. These guys are damaged just a little bit. This guy is damaged. And then lots of units are dead. Okay, finish with the rest of that in a moment. Okay, so as long as I know I have that correct, I can continue rolling out the next round. Okay. In attack, we have 4 heavy cruisers. That's 2 hits, 2 fighters, just 1 hit, 2 damaged battleships. No hits there. So 3 on round 2. In response, we have 3 die rolling at 8. 1 miss. Nice. And 1 die rolling at 10. Okay, so that's 3 hits in response. We'll do 3 heavy cruisers. So then 1, 2, 3. That's what remains. These are twice damaged, and these are normal damage. Okay. Pressing again. Let's see how many bodies. I have 5 bodies. He has 6. Yeesh. I am gonna still press though. Okay, so these all are rolling at 6. 1. Oh boy, just 1 hit. Okay. In response, these 2 rolling at 6. 1 hit, and these 2 rolling at 8. 1 hit. Okay. Okay, so lose another heavy cruiser. Yeah, okay. I'll lose. Choosing between a fighter and a battleship here, a damaged battleship. I'm gonna kill a fighter. So what I have left are 2 damaged battleships and a fighter. He has 3 doubly damaged heavy battleships and a normal damaged heavy battleship. That's not going to go my way. I just have to retreat. Those heavy battleships just didn't miss, and he got lucky with his small units at the first round of combat. Oh well, that's going to be it. So we have 2 heavy battleships going back to port to Tokyo. And a fighter returning to Honshu. Everything else is dead. Never goes well. Never goes well. Alright, I think that's that combat complete. Okay, let's go on and roll the rest. We have strategic bomber on Hokkaido. Miss on the anti-aircraft fire, and I'm pretty sure maximum damage is 5, but I'll confirm the maximum damage. We did roll an 8 on that minor factory. Continuing, got a roll against these submarines for the French. Just rolling at a 3 or less. Miss. Okay. But these submarines are going to end up submerged for it. Okay. Other combat moves, we have the carpet bombing in Hainan. All misses as usual. Moving on to the submarine raiding in P59. A +1 for the orange die, and the Anzac has a +3 on the gray die for a net of +2 towards green. No damage there, and no damage there. Neither of the 2 ASW rolls hit either. Oh, can be deleting roundels. Okay. And then we'll have the same die roll. I just deleted those die. With a +2 to this die. This will be the Anzac die. We'll have a +2 net to it, but there's no ASW because it's just a plain rating. No damage there either. Okay. 1, 2. Already adjudicated that. Yeah, alright. That's the combat phase over. And let's get into non-combats. The tactical bomber from P50 is going to come off map into Sumatra. The Marine from Java is going to cross the narrow crossing to Sumatra. A destroyer is coming out of port from Kwangtung into P41 and non-comming 1, 2, 3 into I-13. Yeah. Naval transport from Kwangtung is coming out into P50, where it's going to pick up an infantry and artillery, and return to P41, where those 2 units will disembark onto the 97th in Anamtonkin. Okay. From the 97th, we have 2 artillery that are just walking north. and 2 infantry. So two artillery, 2 infantry from Anam Tonkin to Kwang Tung. One infantry from Anam Tonkin is going to rail to Beiping. The airborne from Burma is going to retreat to Anam Tonkin, join the 97th. From Hunan, 1 infantry is going to march north into Shantung. The 41st from Nanking is mostly going to walk over to Shantung as well. That's going to be every land unit that can walk except an airborne and a marine. Everything else is going to go from Nanking to Shantung. And they're going to be joined by rail by the heavy tank from Rihi. Also from Hopei, we've got 1 infantry that's going to walk north up to Beiping. The seaplane that mapped into P15 is just going to return to Okinawa. And I didn't declare the non-coms for the strategic bombers. Both of the strategic bombers are just going to return to Nanking. And then we have 2 naval transports from Nanking coming out. They're going to be joined by the last naval transport from Kwangtung. Is moving 1, 2, and then 3 back to P14. All 3 of these naval transports are going to end up in port P14, but they're going to pick up the 6 infantry from Western Japan. 3 from Kyushu, 3 from Honshu. And they're going to be deposited two are going to go in Rihi, and 4 are going to go in Beiping. I'll clean that up in a moment. Okay. That is the end of the... Nope, it is not the end of the non-combat movement phase. Some down south. Yep. From New Zealand, 1 Marine, 1 Artillery is going to board the naval transport, and they're going to move 1, 2, 3 to P46, where the Marine and the Artillery are going to disembark, and the naval transport is going to go in port in the Caroline Islands as well. Likewise, in the Solomon Islands, the Marine is going to board the destroyer and do the same thing to Guam, disembarking in Guam, and the naval transport will go in port, or the destroyer will go in port in Guam. And that will be the end of the combat movement phase, or the non-combat movement phase. Yeah, okay. Alright then, let's go ahead and place the buys and income. The transport plane that captured Wake is going to be landing in Bonin. I did forget about that too. Okay. The heavy cruiser is, of course, going to be placed in the Tokyo shipyard. Um, let's see. 2 AAA and 2 infantry are going to be built in Kyushu. 2 infantry in Guam. 2 infantry in Nanking. 2 infantry in Rihi. Uh, 1 militia each for New Zealand's North and South Island, as well as New Guinea. We have a militia for Beiping. And then a militia for Burma. A militia for Sumatra. And then a militia upgrade militia, each for Borneo and Java. That is for sure all of the units placed. I do also need to declare a location for this major port, and that's going to be built on the border between I-12 and I-13. Alright, so then collecting income. I have a base income of 47 with nothing saved. And I should get 13 in bonus income. 6 for China, 6 for the 3 valuable territories that I own, and then 1 for the Solomon Islands. So that'll bring me up to a 60 total. Alright. With that, everything should be set in place to be passed off to the next player, to tactical for his British Commonwealth and Free French turns. Oh, I have not gone in port with a number of units. The naval transports in P14 are going to go in port in Nanking again. The naval transport in P41 is going to go back in port in Kwangtung. Everything else is already declared in port. Okay, so with that, I should be able to pass everything off to tactical. Before I get into that, I'm reasonably certain tactical is no longer working on a physical board, and that a unit disposition is no longer necessary. But just in case he's got a new board set up in the meantime, we did take a little while on this past turn, so maybe he's got his board available again. I will go back through and do a unit disposition for Japan once more. If you don't need that, you can leave now. Alright, so in New Zealand, we have 1 militia in the South Island and in the North Island. The North Island also has 1 infantry. Solomon's is empty now. New Guinea has a militia. The Caroline Islands have a militia, a marine, an artillery, and a naval transport in port. Guam has a destroyer in port, and 8 infantry, 2 marines, and a militia. Luzon, Visayas has 1 militia. Borneo has 2 militia and an infantry. Java has 2 militia and an infantry. Sumatra has 2 militia and 2 marines, and a tactical bomber. I-13 has a destroyer. Siam has a militia. Burma has a militia. Anam Tonkin has 2 infantry, a marine, a mountain brigade, 3 artillery, and an airborne. Kwangtung has 2 artillery, 3 infantry, and a militia. And that naval transport is going to be in port in Hong Kong. It's just safer there. There's no reason to put it in Kwangtung. Yeah, even with LRA, the Soviets couldn't capture that with an airborne that was sent to them. Yeah, that's safe. Okay. The Okinawa has a seaplane. Hunan has nothing. Nanking has a marine, an airborne, 2 infantry, 2 militia, 2 strat bombers, and 3 naval transports in port. Shantung has 4 heavy tanks, a medium tank, and 10 infantry. Hopei has nothing. Beiping has 7 infantry and 2 militia. Yep. Rihi has 6 infantry, a motor infantry, an artillery, and a militia. The rest of Manchuria is empty. Korea has 1 militia. The Kuril Islands have a militia. Volcano Islands have a militia. Bonin has a militia and a transport plane. Wake Island has an airborne. Marshall Islands have a militia. Palau has a militia. Yeah, I think that's everything there covered. Japan has 2 AAA and 2 infantry in Kyushu. A fighter in Honshu. Marines in Honshu. Militia and an airborne in Tokyo. And also in Tokyo, in port, is going to be 2 damaged battleships and a heavy cruiser. That's it. That's everything. All right. With that, everything should be set aside. I do have to adjust the damage on that factory, and everything else on this file should be ready to pass off. So, best of luck on everyone's next rolls.